welcome back, and welcome back. You are listening to your half hour of power with the Powerhouse Financial Show, and I'm your host for today, Faith Washington, and today we have a legend in the building. But before I introduce her, I want you guys to give yourself a round of applause for taking the first step by listening to this broadcast. You are building the legacy that you deserve. Powerhouse Financial Show focuses on all things financial literacy, real estate, and life insurance with living benefits. That's right, and we are so excited to be here. Have you guys ever had a vision from God, and the vision was so big you had no idea how to get to it? Well, that's exactly what our guest is going to be talking about today. She is a legend in the industry, and I'm so thankful. So today is Thankful Thursday. That's right, Thankful Thursday, and I'm thankful to have you here. Gratitude. There is no person that I would want here on my show today. Now, she is also one of the biggest reasons why I am in the real estate industry today. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the legend in the real estate industry, Natalie Carpenter. With over 3 decades of experience and a trail of achievements, Natalie has solidified her position as a leader and an icon in the real estate industry. That's right. From her earlier days as a top producer in sales, real estate sales in the Chicago area, her distinct role as vice president and branch vice president, she consistently demonstrates exceptional leadership skills and commitment to Black excellence. That's right, Black excellence. That is a thing. And today we have her on the show. So please give her a warm welcome. Natalie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Faith.
You're doing great. That's amazing. So Natalie, you know, when I think about how we met, I was so impressed. I was a 28-year-old single mom walking into the branch at Coldwell Banker. And I saw you in the office, your smiling face, and I said, wow, I'm quite impressed. I was quite impressed, and you were just sitting there. They greeted me at the desk, and you came out and you said hello to me. So I thank you so much for just being that. It's almost like a godmother in the real estate industry, and you don't find that often. So Natalie, tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm a product of the South Side of Chicago.
Okay.
Was raised by 2 dynamic people. My mom and my dad although my mom worked at the post office, my dad worked for the railroad, they were dynamic in their own rights. They were all always involved in different things. My mom's particularly so because she was a leader in her church. She was a leader in the community. She was a leader. She had other organizations that she participated with. My dad was more of a helper, but he was always there to help in any endeavor that was going on. When I got into real estate, I kind of fell into real estate kind of by mistake.
Okay.
I had a job. I was working in a middle management position as a credit manager. And I couldn't make enough money to buy furniture for my new house.
Wow.
So I decided to get a part-time job.
Okay.
And I really do believe that God orders my steps and he puts me in places where I need to be. And so my part-time job was as a loan processor for a mortgage company.
Okay.
And so my job was to put the packages together to submit to the underwriter so that people could get approved for their loans. One evening I was having a conversation with one of the clients about her package, And she was telling me about her home, and I was asking her some questions about it. And she said, well, how long have you been in real estate? And I said, well, I'm not in real estate. And she said, what do you mean you're not in real estate? I said, I'm not in real estate. I just put packages together for the mortgage company, for the underwriter. And she said, well, you know more about real estate than most real estate agents do.
Wow.
You should consider getting a license.
So, Natalie, let me stop you real quick. How did you end up finding all of this information out about real estate? Were you studying for it, or how did you find that out?
No, at the time, I had been a homeowner twice over at that point.
Wow. Okay.
I bought my first home when I was 23.
Wow.
And, I grew up in a home. I realized the value of being a homeowner. So
Absolutely.
I purchased a home early, and then I made 50% profit and used that money to buy another home. And I didn't know it, but at the time I got in real estate, I was about to get a third. So
wow. So is it safe to say you kind of started off as an investor?
As a homeowner, actually. Homeowner. But I guess it was a little bit of investment on the side.
Okay.
But home ownership to me can be all of that. It's a place for shelter. It's a place for you to call home,
Absolutely.
Raise your family. But it is also an investment.
Absolutely.
Buy right, and you can certainly make amass a fortune in real estate. Actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Natalie, I heard you mention something about your mom and all the endeavors that she was in. Do you think maybe some of that kind of rubbed off on you, that you got that gene as well?
You know what? I was when I was growing up, I thought that was the furthest thing from my mind. But I did realize that watching her participate in a lot of different arenas and be as successful in those arenas as she was, there was something interesting about that. And I learned early on that people did gravitate toward me. If I had an idea, people kind of wanted to hear more about it. So people followed me. I was never that follower. I was the one, when you had the mean girls, I was the one that said, no, I'm not hanging with you. I'm hanging with these people over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and then I just started participating in different things, and I really enjoy people, and I enjoy working with people. So when I got into the real estate industry as a leader, my philosophy was to bring other people that look like me. I got into business in 1990. There weren't that many people that looked like me that were selling real estate.
Yes.
There were agents on the South Side, but there weren't that many. And a lot of them were doing it. It was a side hustle. It was a part-time job. But as a career, it wasn't something that was considered the norm.
So it's almost like you were kind of like a game changer. Like anybody that worked on the South Side, especially in the Bronzeville and Hyde Park area, Natalie Carpenter. Even some of you listening right now may know Natalie Carpenter, because Natalie Carpenter, she is like the godmother of the South Side. And I say that humbly because everybody actually knows you. And Natalie, I don't think you realize how many lives that you actually touched, because I'm a product of that. That's why I'm sitting here today. Serious. All seriousness. You are, like, when I saw you, I wanted to be like you.
Really?
I really wanted to be like you. And I was like, and it's no shade to any of the other brokers that I work for, but I haven't found anybody that comes close to matching your energy and your leadership.
Oh, wow, yes. I'm touched.
Yes, absolutely.
But so what I started out to do has actually worked. It's been effective.
Absolutely, 100%.
I saw so many people that were struggling, like I was, with, couldn't buy furniture, had a job, but couldn't buy furniture. I saw other people working on jobs and doing things that they weren't really that happy with. When I realized that real estate was an avenue that we could take to actually build wealth for our families, change our lives and lifestyles, I wanted to spread that to everybody I could find. One of the first things that, I would consider an accomplishment was that I was in an office that was kind of floundering. We had a lot of part-time or spare time agents in there, and they just weren't doing that much. And then we decided, okay, we're going to try something different. We're going to try to build a bear, basically. Let's bring some people into the industry. And so I went out, we opened up a real estate school. I was walking down the street asking churches, can you let us hold a real estate school here? I was in churches, banks, wherever they would let us have a space and hold the real estate school. We did it, and we got a great instructor, Connie, and she would go in and she would teach the agents. They'd get their licenses, and then they'd come and work in the office. And before very long, we had one of the most vibrant and productive offices on the south side of Chicago.
Now, how long did it take you to build that?
It took, so that all started, I would say, at the end of 1992, first month maybe of 1993. By 1995, we had gone from the 16th office in our small company to the number 2 office for production.
That is very, very impressive. Now, what is some of the skill sets that you kind of deposited into those agents to take you from number 16 to number 2?
Well, first, you have to understand what it is you're doing. Understand your why. Selling real estate to people is a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
Some people, I heard this phrase some years ago, and I keep repeating it. Some people have commission breath. That is wrong. That is not what we're in it for.
Yes.
To be a very successful real estate agent, you have to want to help people.
Absolutely.
To help them change their lives. And people have different needs. Some of them, they're just looking for shelter. But some of them are actually looking for an investment. They want to build generational wealth for their families.
Absolutely.
So getting an agent to understand their why. Why are you in this? What is your motivation? And then going out to find those people that work best with you. I always say, find your tribe.
Yeah,
There's plenty of people out here that need to buy real estate, but some may not work best with you. And some may work better, but you have to find them. You have to find those people. Figure out who you are in the industry, who you want to be, and then go after the people you want to work with. But you got to know it's work. It's a self-employed situation. You are an independent contractor when you're an agent.
You are absolutely 100%, yes.
Right. You can't lay in bed like I tried to my first full year in the business and watch I Love Lucy reruns and expect to get paid, because it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
You have to get out there and put in the work.
Yes.
Take the time and the effort to be successful. But it's a people game. It's you have to connect with people. You have to get people to understand that you are there to help them. It's not about the money. It is about helping people and watching them grow.
Absolutely. Now, Natalie, you said something that was really, really important to a lot of people's success, because oftentimes people think that, hey, I'm going to be an agent, I'm going to sell $1 million properties, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they don't understand the work that goes behind being successful. So at what point was that shift for you? Because I heard you say you were, like, the first year you were kind of like watching I Love Lucy, and then all of a sudden you take off and be this massive legend. What was the turning point for you?
When I didn't have any money in my bank account and I had bills due at the end of the month, and I thought, how in the world am I going to do this?
Wow.
And I, to be honest with you, my story is interesting. I don't know if I've ever really shared this with you, Faith, but
I'm listening.
I actually quit that day.
What?
I went to the office and my broker told me that I had to pay, I think it was MLS dues or whatever. And I said, I don't have any money. I can't pay any MLS dues. And he was like, well, I'm sorry, but if you don't pay your dues, you can't work in the industry. Wow. And I was like, okay. So I took my little things off my desk and put them in my briefcase, and I went home and I quit quietly. So, but when I got home, I sat there and I said, wait a minute, now you do kind of like selling real estate. You keep kind of gravitating toward this, what are you doing? And so I had to talk to myself. I had to talk to Jesus. And I said, look, something is not right. What am I doing wrong? And then it occurred to me. He was in my ear. He said, you can't watch I Love Lucy because she's getting paid every time you look at her. You're not getting paid.
Exactly.
You need to get out there and get it done. there are people that are waiting for you to do business with.
Absolutely.
So the very next day, even though I didn't put all my little stuff back on my desk, I took my phone book. So this tells you how long ago this was.
You're a legend.
My phone book to the office, and I just started calling people. And I started at the A. It took me to get to the G's before I actually found somebody that would, help me get a client.
Wow.
And it was my aunt, Elaine Govan, and I got to the G. She was working at Michael Reese Hospital at the time. And when I called her, I said, I'm in this real estate full time and I need some help. And I was wondering if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell real estate. And she said, well, matter of fact, my coworker was just saying that her daughter had been looking at some property. I was like, let me talk to her. Put her on the phone. She said, I'll have to have her call you. So when the lady called me, she told me about her daughter. And she said, she took my number and she said, I'll have my daughter call you. Her daughter called me when she got off work. She was a nurse. Okay. She got off at 3. She called me at like 3:01 and said, yeah, I really want to get a condo. I haven't really seen anything that I like out here. I said, I can take you today. And right. I took her that day, sold her a condo. And within the next 7 or 8 months, I sold 7 or 8 of her co-workers at the hospital.
Impressive.
Properties.
Quite impressive. Wow. Now, Natalie, I know that you have a line of accolades. I was looking over your bio, and you are the first African American female that received the Managing Broker of the Year award. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yes, that's the first. So what was going through your mind when they called you and told you, hey, Natalie, flash forward, you watching I Love Lucy, now all of a sudden you're the first African American female that gets this award?
Ooh. Well, the first thought that went through my mind is that award was not for me, it was for my agents.
Wow.
I've been blessed to have a lot of wonderful people pass through the doors, each one of the doors that I've worked in. And I have a tendency to see things in people that they may not see in themselves.
Absolutely.
And, I do believe that before you count somebody out, you give them a chance. And I've always been the kind of person that will work with you, try to figure out what it is you need, who you are in this business, help you try to figure out which path you should take. And over time, I just built this great team of really wonderful people.
Absolutely.
And they're the reason. I mean, they're really, it should have been called the Agents of the Year Award because it should have gone to my agents.
Wow, you are just a servant leader. That just speaks light because you didn't say, well, I did this and I did that. You passed the award off, as you also got the Phenomenal Woman of the Year award. Now, tell us a little bit more about that. What is the Phenomenal Woman of the Year award?
Okay, so that was interesting. So that was in 1998, actually. I'd only been in the business about 8 years. And I'm not really sure who nominated me for that.
Wow.
But Mary Green had an organization called, she had an event every year, the Expo for Today's Black Woman.
Wow.
And somehow someone nominated me, and I was selected. Though to this day, I do not know how I got selected. But I was so excited because I got the award at the same time Iman got the award.
Okay.
Our keynote speaker for the award was Star Jones, who at that time had risen to stardom because of the murder that everybody was talking about. And goodness knows, you could tell I'm seasoned now. I can't remember the guy's name. He's so famous. He's a famous football player. But anyway, O.J. Simpson.
There you go.
that whole thing. So Star rose to fame on that. So the funny thing about that, when the event occurred, it was a huge hotel downtown in New Orleans. 1,200 people in the room to see me and the other people that get the award. But the highlight of the evening was when I convinced Star to come and meet her her biggest fan, who was my dad.
Wow.
And she came over to our table and held his hand, and he talked to her probably much longer than she wanted him to talk. But that memory my father took to his grave, and that just made me feel so great.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. You guys, Natalie Carpenter, the legend. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break and go to our song here, and we are going to come back and tell you a little bit more about Natalie's story. All right, welcome back. We are here with the legend, Natalie Carpenter, in the real estate industry. So, Natalie, as we wrap up our time together, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. So my last question to you, Natalie, is what can you share with people about leadership?
Leadership, well, I think you can be a natural leader, or you can make yourself become a leader.
Okay.
As a leader, you have to be able to put other people's needs first, because it's not about you. It's about the team or the people that you're trying to elevate.
Absolutely.
As long as you can elevate others, it will also elevate you.
Wow.
Teach them their why. Let them understand why they're doing it, and show them that there is, a path to wherever they want to go.
Absolutely.
Make people understand that, they have to have a business plan. That's important. No matter how, basic it is, you need a plan. Just like you need a map to go somewhere you've never been to before, you need a business plan to do the same.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Natalie Carpenter, the one and only phenomenal woman in the industry, in the real estate industry, in the studio today. 102.3 Rejoice, 102.3 that is, and we are so excited. We thank you so much. And if you guys want to reach out to her, Natalie, what is your Facebook or your social media? Do you have a social media?
I do. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm even on TikTok.
Oh,
but,
nice.
You can find me, Natalie Carpenter.
Natalie Carpenter. You want to go and follow her, Natalie Carpenter, the phenomenal woman, the legend in the industry. And I'm also your host, Faith K. Washington. You can also follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and we're excited. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.